In our last video, we talked about the power of having a silent protagonist in a video game. Now we want to talk about the vocal protagonists, if you will. Worded or vocal protagonists have the ability to drive and support a powerful narrative in a video game. They also have the ability to add some flavor to the mood, like Brutal Legend, voiced by Jack Black. He's funny. One of my favorite vocal protagonists of all time is Leon Kennedy in Resident Evil 4. There are so many hilarious lines in this game. The dialogue is terrible, but it's great. It's so funny. It just makes you laugh.
I've been expecting you, my brethren.
No thanks, bro.
No way, Leon.
Way.
See you later.
Women.
But what about the super strong narrative-based games with the good dialogue? Or what about The Witcher or the God of War, huh? Well, I mean, God of War is pretty good. We'll get into that one a little bit later. I will openly admit, yes, there aren't a lot of vocal protagonists that I just absolutely adore in the way that others do, but that doesn't mean that I can't appreciate some of these awesome characters with unique personalities. An absolutely killer game with a vocal protagonist is The Last of Us. Oh man, just look at this. Just look at these graphics. It's so good. Not only does this game have some intense, gritty, violent, in-your-face moments, but it has the feely feels too. The interaction you have happening between Ellie and Joel ranges from hilarious to thought-provoking and emotional. For those of you that haven't played this game, hear me out. In a nutshell, you play out this story as a duo trying to get to Salt Lake City to potentially find a way to cure a zombie sickness that has overtaken the world. The story moves very quickly and smoothly, giving you a lot of memorable moments with Ellie and Joel. I guess part of what makes these voice characters so great is how they provide you with memories and emotionally satisfying moments. Like when Ellie saves Joel, or the ending that later ensues where Joel has to make a very tough decision about Ellie. Or when Leon Kennedy cracks a fat joke about bingo.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
Overall, the vocal protagonist is one that we can all appreciate, whether it be the heavily narrative-focused titles or just the funny fun-time humor games. There's a character in games for all of us, right? So, play the good games, everybody.
Wow, I'm sorry. So recently I've been very spoiled with gamey games. Games meaning little cutscenes, hardly any exposition, and more of an emphasis on gameplay. Like my recent fascination with Dark Souls and Bloodborne, you know, all them creepy little bitty boogie bugs and Hollow Knight. And of course, Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey. The last narrative-heavy game that I played was probably Spiky Hair Boy 3000. But recently, like Nick has said, we've been playing a little game called God of War. You know, maybe you heard of it, got 10 out of 10 by IGN. It's rated M for blood and gore. It's so sick.
What's up, bro? You wanna play God of War? Rated M for blood, gore, suggestive themes, and strong language, dude. And it's got Danny DeVito in it.
But really though, this game has made me appreciate voice protagonists again. You know, perfect timing since our last vid was about silent protagonists. And, you know, not only that, but this game has helped me appreciate more story-focused and linear games again. And really, there are so many great things about God of War. Heck, the graphics are just, they're spanking, they're wow, they're just wow.
Wow.
And the combat is just so crunchy and it's very satisfying. I mean, before I get into the main point, let's just check this little piece out. It's pretty cool.
No!
Wow!
I feel like, wow.
You see, it's a good game. It's really good. But even with all of that said, that's not the part that's really drawn me in. What I've enjoyed the most about this game are the quiet moments in between all this crazy action. Watching Kratos father his boy, and watching the boy teach Kratos a few things as well, has not only been intriguing and interesting as a story, but it really has touched me and has made me look, more inward. Maybe being recently married has made me think about my future kids or what it's going to be like to be a father. And Kratos and the boy's dynamic is just so full of chemistry and it's so tangible. I feel like I get to be part of their journey, like I'm taking a back seat in the Asgard Express and just soaking in all of these lessons, these fights, and all of these trials that these two characters are going through. And, I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but I love Kratos as a character in this game. He's just a lovable, old, silly man that, makes mistakes just like any other old, lovable, silly man. And, he does funny things. He makes the boy read for him, and he says funny things like,
Quiet.
And not only that, you can really see that he is internally struggling throughout the game, and there are such beautiful moments throughout the game that you can see Kratos show, or at least attempt to show, love for his son. It truly is such a beautiful story to behold. And even though I'm not too experienced in narrative games and I'd like to keep playing narrative games, I'm sure that there are other characters that I can learn from and I'm looking forward to as well. In our last video we focused on how you can project yourself onto a silent protagonist. But what if we can't teach ourselves anything more and we do need to learn some lessons from an outside source like a character? And I think that's all we're really trying to say in this video is that as much as we love the gamey games, we do realize that there is a space for narrative games, and we appreciate the heck out of good ones. So, grab yourself a go drinkus and why don't you go play some of that old, narrative game that's a Final Fantasy and stuff. All right, it's a good time. I'll see you later, Boy Scout.
Boy Scouts!
Thanks for watching. Subscribe.
And like the video and share with your homies, huh?